Spending money isn't necessarily a bad thing at all. In fact, spending money is actually necessary. But how often do we have regrets about our purchases? Do we feel like we could have put our money to better use? Or maybe we didn't thoroughly think through our purchases and what we got sort of fell short of our expectations. As I did a reflection on things I no longer spend my money on as a minimalist, I also noticed, because of some of these changes in my lifestyle, that there are just things I simply no longer need or want to pay for. Makeup. I used to buy eyeshadow palettes, but they just end up in my drawer and barely used. I have enough eyeshadow to last me for a really long time, except I'm not even sure if they're expired. Nowadays, my go-to look doesn't really involve makeup, other than the occasional eyeliner and eyebrow pencil to make sure that I actually look like I have more eyebrows. I'll put on a moisturizer and sunscreen on my face and I'm good to go. Plus, living a homebody life, I've gotten quite comfortable with just the bare face. Gym memberships. Fitness was once a really huge priority of mine, as I was a gym rat back in the day, but paying for a gym membership when I just need to get my body moving without any specific fitness goals, I find it more worth my money and time to just purchase the equipment I need for at-home workouts rather than to just pay for a membership on a contract basis. I'm past the stage in my life of chasing for my dream body, and nowadays I'm just content to exercise for a body that can carry out everyday activities and to keep myself mentally healthy. These intentions alone are a good enough reason to keep my body moving with exercise. Bread. If you're someone who likes to bake, find something that you eat on a regular basis that you can learn to make yourself. After you've made it from scratch and with enough leftovers, you can store it in the freezer. This saves you a trip to the grocery store and you can have whatever you like on hand. If you've watched my bread making videos, you'll know that I take pride in baking my own bread. After eating homemade bread and realizing that it's not that difficult to make, I said, why not? It's fresh and it makes the whole house smell just like a bakery. Coffee. They say if you're a regular coffee drinker, that by not buying coffee outside, you'll be saving a few dollars a day, and after a whole year, you could even have enough saved up to go on a trip. Going out for coffee used to be such a normal thing for me, especially living in a city that's surrounded by some really cute coffee shops. These days, working from home, I find it's more cost-effective and convenient to just make our own. I usually take my coffee black and occasionally a latte. This bag of coffee beans is honestly very versatile, as it not only makes a great cup of hot coffee, but if you add ice and some milk, or half and half, it ends up tasting like a really good iced coffee from Starbucks. Add a sweetener of your choice if you prefer, but the vanilla flavoring by itself seems to be very satisfying for me already. Haircuts. When the pandemic hit, I had no choice but to learn how to cut my husband's hair. I couldn't deal with him looking like a Sasquatch anymore, so I rolled up my sleeves, watched some YouTube videos, and that's sort of how I became my husband's hairdresser. Watching YouTube videos really helped me understand what tools I needed to cut hair, along with the techniques on how to do it. His haircut is not perfect, but what started from a place of desperation is now a skill that saves my husband money from buying haircuts on the bi-weekly. This basic wall haircut kit has gotten so much use that it's worth the initial investment. Disposable pads. For a while, I was always searching for ways to better manage my period. I decided I wanted to stop wearing disposable pads because they chafe and irritate my skin. It's also a lot of waste to throw away every month, so overall it's just not good for the environment. I tried tampons, the cup, and they were all just not something that worked for me. I decided to give period underwear a try, and I discovered I really like it because I can wear them for enough hours to not have to change them out. After wearing, I just rinse and put them in the washer and hang dry. If you're considering an alternative to pads, I highly suggest trying NYX period underwear. I've left a link in the description in case you would like to save $15 off your purchase. Underwire bras. While bras can be expensive, I know that a good quality one that fits well is worth the money and one that lasts a long time. This is why I also purchased NYX's bras on top of their period underwear. The pads are removable, so it's quite versatile. The straps can also be crisscrossed for a different style. I don't know about you, but being a bit on the bigger chested side, I like bras with enough coverage and don't feel tight and compressed. After discovering wire-free bras, I don't think I can go back to underwires. It's nice to not have that feeling of something digging into your skin all day. Books. These days, I find myself reading books from my Kindle app, and while I used to purchase physical books, I just don't find it being worthwhile enough for me to purchase if I only read the book once. If I do choose to purchase, I usually buy the digital version so they don't take up any physical space, which makes for less clutter in our home. Along with borrowing books from the library, both in person and on the digital library app, I don't really see a need to buy physical books anymore. Handbags, accessories, and purses. I find it much easier to wear a fanny pack on my waist than to wear something that sort of falls off on my shoulders or feels like I'm lugging around excess baggage when I'm just out for a small errand. I do own a couple of handbags though, in case I want to wear them with outfits, but so far admittedly they just haven't gotten much wear at all. Self-help online courses. Self-help has become a very profitable industry. I used to be the kind of person who regularly reads self-help and buys courses. I realized that while wanting to be a better human is a good aspiration, I was constantly being bombarded with the idea that I needed to upgrade my life. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be better, but there comes an issue when self-help makes us feel like we are just never going to be good enough. I think a better investment for my personal growth would probably be therapy or counseling. Also, with self-help, it can easily become information that you just consume, and then it gives you this feel good. But unless you apply it or until you know what you really need help with, it's expensive and it can be wasteful to just throw money at self-help without good discernment. Please let me know if this was helpful to you in some way, and are there any of the items I mentioned that you have also given up on buying as well? I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video about minimalism and slow living.